of the great religions of the world. We can still tread the ground where saints once walked. Visit the sites of miracles. And worship at the site of Christ's crucifixion in Jerusalem, the very heart of the Holy Land. Two remarkable people helped make this possible. St. Paul, who took his belief beyond the Holy Land and brought Christianity to the West. And St. Helena, who made a discovery which transformed the Holy Land into a place of pilgrimage for centuries to come. This is their story of the lands they made holy and the places they made sacred. After Christ died on the cross, his followers still lived in fear. One man struck real terror into their hearts. His name was Saul. Yet this same man would become Christ's greatest messenger, St. Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles. His journeys would take him to distant shores, into the heart of pagan territory. From the deserts of Arabia to the very pinnacles of Greek and Roman culture. This is the story of how St. Paul, once Christianity's most ruthless persecutor, laid the foundations of the worldwide church. Beneath the Taurus Mountains, on the southern coast of Turkey, lies the city of Tarsus. Here Saul was born in the year 5 AD. Growing up in the comfort of a wealthy family, Saul was Jewish by faith and Greek by culture. And through his father, he was also a citizen of Rome, whose empire embraced the Mediterranean from Judea in the east all the way to Hispania in the west. From the age of 6, Saul was schooled in the books of the Torah. He was taught to obey the Jewish law and the rituals of the temple in Jerusalem, the center of Jewish authority. But the young Saul also lived in the midst of paganism. Differing beliefs existed side by side, often in conflict. Cult religions grew and died. But for Saul, there was only one faith. One path to the one God. When he was barely 14, Saul was sent to continue his studies in Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the capital of the Promised Land, where Solomon had built his temple to house the Ark of the Covenant. Its leaders would not tolerate new thoughts, new ideas. Their laws were set in stone. Any challenge was blasphemy. But a challenge had arisen from a rebel named Jesus of Nazareth. He defied the elders' laws, threatened their leadership. He had to die. Yet his followers still spoke out. One man was determined to silence them. Saul, now a temple leader himself. Fervor drove him to hunt down the followers of Jesus. His mission, to wipe the name of Christ from the earth.
I persecuted the followers to the death, binding both men and women and delivering them to prison.
Yet it was a disciple of Jesus who was to change Saul's life forever. Crowds flocked to his sermons. He defended Jesus, and he too defied the laws of the temple. His name was Stephen. Taken before the high priest and charged with blasphemy, Stephen was defiant.
Which of the prophets did your ancestors not prosecute? They killed those that foretold of the coming of the righteous one, and now you have become his betrayers and murderers.
Dragged from the temple, taken beyond the city walls, Stephen's fate was sealed. The witnesses laid down their clothes at a young man's feet, whose name was Saul. When Saul gave the word, the stoning began. This was the law of the temple. As he lay dying, Stephen begged for forgiveness for Saul.
Lord, lay not this sin to their charge, for they know not what they do.
Stephen had died a true Christian, forgiving his killers. But Saul could not forgive. That night, many Christians fled in fear of their lives. They sought refuge in Cyprus, in Antioch, and in Damascus. Saul wanted the rebels crushed forever. Authorized by the temple elders, Saul was to pursue the heretics to Damascus.